In this session, we're going to look at creating that safe space online with the clients. So a lot of people have been moving their live classes to Zoom as a live class online. And that's a wonderful thing because it gives us all that time and place to be. It gives us that opportunity to connect with people we're used to seeing so that we can just touch base and see how everyone's doing. We keep that sense of community, and these are really wonderful things to be trying to keep cultivating at this time because we need to support each other. However, that also means that there's a temptation to record those live classes, which is maybe something you weren't doing in a studio before. And recording does bring with it some issues around people's comfort and how safe they feel. So one of the things that can be useful to consider is whether or not you really need to record the class. What is it that you're going to do with those videos afterwards? Often, a live Zoom recording is not that great a quality, and so it might not be that it's a video you're going to want to use to share for download or in an online platform or put on YouTube. So perhaps, if that's your intention, it's just not really worth recording those videos. Another thing to think about is whether you are using Zoom to video, but then you have a separate camera to record yourself teaching that class. And that might be something that you could then put online, but that camera isn't capturing your clients, it's capturing you on your mat.
Okay, so I thought I would share a little experiment with Zoom, but also using multiple cameras, as some of you have raised questions about not being able to be seen at multi-level in a class, and how you can get around that when you're in a confined space. So obviously I'm very lucky I have a lovely space here, I can put multiple cameras on. One of the problems with Zoom is the feedback loop when you have two microphones and two speakers picking up in the same space. So the first thing you want to do is turn the speaker completely off on your phone if possible, or on your computer. So you want to do it at least on one of them. So at the moment I only have the video recording on my computer and not on my phone. I also have two side cameras to show you two alternative angles that maybe I would want to record if I wanted a better quality video to record at the end of a Zoom class. This also avoids the safety issues of having clients appear on the video because I've got alternative cameras that aren't going to capture my clients. If you really want to record something and have multi-level nice camera angles for your recordings afterwards, then you can do these too. If you're teaching your clients in a live class and you're using the two camera angles to show it, then you can just leave one on mute, leave the volume off completely, and obviously your clients then have these two different video settings in the viewings on Zoom, which will help them be able to see both of your angles depending on where you are in your class. I hope that gives you a bit of an idea of what to do on Zoom with multi-level video, and if you did want a better quality video, how it is that you can use different cameras whilst still capturing your live class to share with your clients afterwards.
So when we open the space with our clients, platforms like Zoom allow you to automatically record at the very beginning as soon as the session launches. Now, this can make people feel a little bit unsafe, and they may not be as open to talk with you honestly because they know it's being captured. So my suggestion and how I like to create a safe space is not to have the session being recorded when it launches, but is to allow those few minutes before to have that chat and check in with clients. Now, in addition, clients may not want to talk or have their video on during the class. They might not want the other clients to hear. And something that you can do, especially in Zoom, is set the chat function to host read only, which means that when a client messages you, it's just to the host and not to the whole group. And that can provide a safe way for them to let you know if there's something specific going on or a concern that they have that you might want to take into consideration whilst you're teaching the class. You also may wish to notify the clients that you're going to record the class, and that if they don't want to be recorded, the things that they need to do are to put their microphone to mute, because on Zoom it records whoever's microphone is making the noise. But you can also advise them to turn the camera off, but of course you won't be able to see them if they do that, so you won't be able to give them any corrections should they need that assistance. If your client has other safety concerns, you might want to avoid using their name and not call people out specifically if that's something you're used to doing. And this makes the teaching sometimes a little bit more generic, but it can just mean that you avoid specific privacy concerns during the recording. You may also need to go into the video afterwards and remove any parts of the recording of specific clients should they request. And that means you're going to need to be able to know where the file is, have the file named, and be able to find that client within the video and edit it out so that it can't be shared on any platforms containing the client. So this just means that at the beginning of the class, remind them if you're going to record, remind them of the settings to change. You change the host chat function only, and tell them when you're hitting record. And then at the end of the class, you can say to them, I'm turning off record so that we can all have a chat. And you turn off record and encourage them then to speak with you openly and freely about how they felt about that class. This can help encourage people to feel more safe and able to speak and be open with you like they would do normally when they're not being recorded. We also want to make sure that when we're teaching the class, we pace it appropriately. People are going to have to rely off of audio cueing a lot more, and often they need a little bit more time to allow their hearing to digest into their brain before they move. So that means slowing down those cues and giving them time to digest. And this will make people feel safer. It's also helpful to provide a little bit of extra grounding because they are doing an online class and they are interacting with their computer. So just making sure that you take the time in your setup and in your wind down to really ground your clients back into the space that they are in. Do allow for time for questions and check-ins with your clients, and you might find that with some particular clients, email or text messages are better to check in with how they're doing. This can especially come up when you've got clients who may be triggered or have specific issues that arise, and they may just log out of a class. It's useful at that point to then reach out to them afterwards and check in with them as to if there was anything specific that arose that might need your support or another specialist to help them. Finally, making sure that your clients can see and hear you properly is super useful. So just make sure that you've got lots of good lighting, that your camera is set up. If you need that second camera, practice with it. Do lots of practice runs with people who support you and will big you up, like your family and friends, so that you can get as much feedback as possible, so that then when you're teaching, it's not on your mind. And the more you can release all of your anxieties around the technology, the more a safe space you can create and hold for your clients, and then they're going to feel that. And that's going to make the world of difference to them enjoying your class and getting the full value out of what you do best, which is teaching and delivering your wellness gifts to them.